Folks at home, welcome back to the Crimson Oak Pond, and if you missed the previous videos in this series, I'll put a link down in the description below. And it has taken us about 6 months to build the pond and get it completely full of water, and we're going to be stocking the bass into the pond in early May, and that's only a few weeks away. But I got some big news today. Our custom cabin that we had built got delivered to the farm, and I'm excited for a couple of reasons. And the first is that it allows us to spend a lot more time out here at the farm and filming, which will mean more videos for you all. And the second reason I'm excited is because we're going to do some giveaways and allow some of our subscribers to come out and spend a weekend in this cabin on the farm. So a lot of you all have been with us since day one of the pond build, and we really appreciate all that support. So we're doing the first giveaway today, and it's very simple. All you have to do is leave a comment below on what you think we should name the new cabin. And if I end up selecting your name, you'll get to come out and spend a weekend in the cabin this summer. Alright folks, pond cabin has finally arrived. Time for a quick cabin tour. Just going to start off with one of my favorite spots right here with the perfect view of the Crimson Oak Pond. So just going to walk around, give you guys a quick tour, show you some ideas that we have. We had this cabin built by Alabama Custom Cabins out of Jasper. They did a heck of a job, you can tell by all the woodwork. Another thing I love about this setup, everything comes completely furnished. So we got the microwave, stove, refrigerator, dishwasher. He even built in some cool features like this pull-out table, cutting area. Just all the wood finishes and color contrast. I love it. So the theme behind this is going to be like a fishing cabin. We're going to decorate it, probably put some fish mounts up there, largemouth bass, or possibly over in that corner. This wall right here will be the flat screen TV. And let's check out the bedroom. Again, it already came with 2 mini splits, which should be plenty to keep this thing cool. But now let's talk about another feature that I love about this cabin setup. So this is the view out of this window, and if you guys recall, most of the deer feeding that we do is over there by the owl house, right out this window. So I'm gonna mount another one of the dome cameras right there, and we'll be able to see all the way down the hill. And it'll basically have full 80-acre range. So not only will we be able to watch the wildlife out the window, but we're going to mount a TV right here that will be connected to that dome camera, so I can sit here and pan around and zoom in and should be able to get you guys a lot more footage. Got the barn style sliding doors. Here's a quick look at the bathroom. Liz loves the shower decorations. This is how it was shipped. That's the other part of the mini splits. We got to get those mounted outside. Washer and dryer stackable going right here in this area. So we've got 2 ceiling fans, and we got him to leave us a spot open right there. We're going to do an antler chandelier right here that comes down. It's pretty nice. Liz and I are going to try to get that hooked up this week. Now we're going to take you up and show you Sarah's area. She loves it. Already gotten a couple beds put in up here, but it's kind of like a little play area for her. And it's probably got the best view because it's up high, and you can really see all the way across the farm. But man, look at that woodworking and that color contrast. He put everything together just perfect. But that's a quick look at the cabin. If you guys have any other ideas on things that we should add in here, leave a comment down below. One really cool thing that I may add right here on one of these surfaces is what I call the dueling sunfish. Liz and I both caught one that was over a pound about 3 years ago, and we had a replica made of them fighting over a worm. Gotta be one of the coolest looking mounts I've ever seen. That's gonna be here next week. So initially we thought about printing our Crimson Oak logo and putting it right there. That would have been a perfect spot for it, but unfortunately the couch covers it, so we're going to have to find another spot somewhere to put the logo. Check this out, folks. I was just sitting here looking out this window, and 2 new ducks flew into the pond right out there in the middle, the ones floating from right to left. That's one of the reasons I love having this cabin and being out here more. Alright, I'm going to zoom in from that dome camera over there. Let's take a look and see what kind of ducks these are. I'm pretty sure that those are the same 2 ducks that were here in the last video, and about 99% of you said that those were blue-winged teal. So I feel pretty confident that that's what they are. And we got the well right there. That's where we're going to hook the water up. It's not far at all. We're going to come through and add some stone siding there, or skirting, once we get done with installing everything. So the electricians came out and built us a pedestal for the 400 amp panel. The power company is going to install a transformer right there and run the power cables underground from that power pole over there. Then we're going to hook up the plumbing and tie the 2 mini splits in right there. And that's basically it. A quick and easy cabin install. Alright, it's the first sunset on the cabin, and I'm definitely interested to see what wildlife comes out to check it out tonight. And it does not surprise me one bit that the first visitor is Al Capone. And I should actually build him a perch up there on top of the cabin because, as you all know, we have an abundance of little mice running around out here. And I'm sure several of them are going to try to make this cabin their new home. So we need those owls to hang around. And it looks like he already got one. So both of the owls spent the majority of the night out here on their new perch. But check out this morning shot. They stayed out here a little bit after daylight. But I wonder what that is in the background. I'm sure it's probably just some sort of plane. But the way the fog is illuminating the lights kind of makes it look like a UFO or something. That's pretty cool. Now for some more wildlife, we got Johnny Cash and June flying into the pond first thing this morning. They're two regulars around here now. And check out these two birds. They've got the long beak, so I'm assuming they're probably here for the bait fish. But the one thing I've noticed that's strange is anytime we have a big storm, like 30-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain, new animals always show up during the bad weather. It's kind of interesting, like they're trying to get a good meal in before the storm hits. I'm not 100% sure what type of birds these are. Maybe they're just poking around for some worms. So next up is a really cool shot of the owls. And since we built the pond, we've been filming these two guys 24/7, and it's really rare to get a daytime shot of them. The majority of the time, they're strictly night hunting. But today, we were fortunate enough to get to see Hooter and Al Capone. And this is the first time I've gotten to see that big white patch on their chest. And it looks like they're still enjoying that owl box I put up for them. Alright folks, now it's time for a backyard pond update. Let's check out and see who is over here in the shallow end. We got a few of the bluegills, the black crappies right there, and there's Bonnie. She has gotten big. Here's a quick underwater shot of her. And there's Clyde in the background, but take a look at how big Bonnie has gotten. This is their spawning season, so it's the heaviest that she'll weigh all year long. But man, they've both put on some weight. But now let's talk about the next project we have going on with this. So if you guys watched our channel 3 years ago, Aquascape came in and built one of the most beautiful ponds I've ever seen. And unfortunately, last year's 5-acre pond took up every ounce of my free time. So you can see the landscaping around this pond needs a little love. So we're gonna get in here and go through, trim some of these bushes back. Some of these, like this guy right here, you can see takes away from the view of the waterfall, so we're gonna probably remove it and go back in with a smaller version of it and basically just do a spring cleaning. You can see we still have some dead plants that need to be cut back. So that's a quick look at the before, and we'll show you the after here in a minute. Alright folks, quick backyard pond update. I made a lot of progress today, but we still have a good bit left to do. Give you a quick look at what's going on. You see the white outline here. That's going to be a mulch bed. We got rid of a lot of those big bushy plants that were covering up the waterfall. We got rid of all the weeds there, laying down that felt, so should hopefully prevent them from coming back in this next year. Oh, and check this out. Some animal has dug or burrowed a nice little hole in there. Looks bigger than an armadillo. I don't know if that's a little fox den or what, but I thought that was pretty interesting. I might have to set up a camera, see what lives in it. Alright, the guys finished up this morning, and a big shout out to the Fort Landscape because they came back in and rejuvenated the landscaping around this pond and got it back to looking much more like an aquascape pond. So now it's time to take a dive underwater and check in on some of the fish. So for those of you that are new to the channel, this is Bonnie and Clyde, our two pet bass that we've had for about 5 years. And that's Clyde swimming right up front and Bonnie in the background, and both of them have put on a lot of weight. And we have a black crappie named Outlaw and two big bluegills named Jekyll and Hyde. But I love watching this underwater footage because even though those bluegills are much smaller than the bass, whenever it's spawning season, these fish pick out a particular part of this pond and they'll defend it. Even against a much bigger fish, you can see the bluegill kind of pushing the bigger bass away. And Clyde with a big yawn there. And there's a look at one of those baby ninja turtles. We hatched 5 turtles about 2 years ago, and we built them a little pond, but some of them escaped that pond and got into this bigger pond. So one of the key indicators that tells me Bonnie's getting ready for spawning season is when she starts spending a lot of time up there in the shallow water and vegetation, because she typically spends most of the year in the deepest part of the pond, but she's cruising around up there in the shallows looking for a good spot to lay those eggs. Man, it looks like we are starting to see a little bit of spawning activity. Typically whenever the two bass get together and start acting like this, they'll usually spawn within a couple of days. And we've tried and tried over the last few years to get them to spawn in this pond, but unfortunately no success. But this will be the last year they're in the backyard pond because we're moving them to the new 5-acre pond, so hopefully we'll get to see some little bass fry this year. And Bonnie's had a long day. She's going to go sit down on the bottom. It's funny to watch fish sit on the bottom, but they will. They'll get down there and sit and be completely still. Alright, we're out here planting citrus and fruit trees. Got Liz there. Gonna be using that auger attachment. Should come in handy. Got about 30 of them to plant today. Alright, we finally got all of the trees planted. And we got some satsumas, some mandarins, navel oranges, Hamlin oranges, and a big variety of apples, pears, and plums. We got the girls out here doing some weeding in their garden today. The corn is starting to come up, but like always, everything has to compete with the peanuts. Corn's looking good. Everything's sprouting. The deer can't wait. So I just cut a big section of grass in what's going to be the new backyard, but everything's a little bit bare out here. So while we've got this auger attachment on the tractor, I'm going to plant a few more oak trees. Alright, we got our 4 oaks planted. These are called Nuttall oaks. They're going to be really pretty. You can see it's one of those long leaf oak trees. Just now starting to get their new leaves for this year. But we put one here. This is going to kind of be a driveway pulling into the cabin. Another one on that side of the driveway. And then 2 over there in the backyard. Them girls been hard at it all day long in that garden too. Sarah's loving it. Time for a quick update on the fruit trees. You can't have anything with these deer around here. They're sitting here rubbing on this tree. Here we are, mid-April, and the deer still haven't lost their antlers. So we're definitely gonna have to get some protection up around them. This guy right here, poor little thing. They were chewing the leaves on it, snapped it in half at the top. Time to get some fencing, because Liz is not going to be happy when she sees this. But I just set up a game camera, so we're going to see which one of these bucks is the culprit. So we got a few deer coming through this afternoon. They're just grazing what's left over of those winter crops. Now we have one sniffing on the apple tree. And if they only knew that if they'd leave them alone for long enough, they would produce a lot of fruit that would taste a lot better than the leaves. Yep, we got to get that fencing up right away. So I was just putting some corn out to feed the deer and wildlife. Look what I stumbled upon. Spike finally lost the first antler. It's the first antler I've seen dropped here, right over here by the outhouse. Our cypress trees are budding. So here's a quick update on our two ducks, Allie and Bam Bam. And if you saw in our last video, she started laying eggs, and we brought one of them home and put it in an incubator. And all of this is new to me, but they say you're supposed to be able to candle the egg to see if it was fertilized or not. And we would periodically candle it, and it did look like something was inside of it and changing. But I'm definitely not a duck expert, so you guys let me know what you think in a comment down below. Does it look like this one's fertilized or not? Because what I've read is that if you incubate a non-fertilized egg, it could explode on you. Definitely don't want that happening. A lot of you guys said we should have gotten more eggs than just the one that we put in the incubator last time. So she laid 3 eggs. We're going to add them to the incubator. See if we can have some little ducklings running around out here. Now let's check in on some more of the wildlife at the farm. And so Johnny and June found out where I've been feeding the deer, and they make sure to swing by there every day. And a flock of white birds weathering out the storm in the pond. And I believe that these are those white egrets that hang out around the cow fields all the time. I think I've seen these before. So we got a couple of doves feeding right there on some of the corn. And look what swoops in to try to get them. That was a close call with the hawk coming in low, but the doves were a little bit too fast for him. Next up, we got the group of bandits coming through the water's edge. That's pretty routine for them every night. So this is one I was interested to see. So we got those 2 blue-winged teals on the bank, and the geese are coming over. And I've read some comments that said the geese will not get along with the ducks. But so far, everything seems to be fine between these 2 pairs. I'll have to keep an eye on it because when the geese first got in, it did not look like they liked the decoys at all. So I've got several other projects ongoing out at the pond. One of them is that big pile of lime, and these big rainstorms keep setting us back. But I hope to get all of that spread really soon, and then start our fertilizer program, and that should get all of our pond water parameters set up perfect before we add those bass in a few weeks. We're also going to be adding the threadfin shad before we put the bass in, so we got a lot coming up. And now it's time to feed Mr. Moby. Alright folks, don't forget to leave your comments down below on what you think we should name the new cabin, because we're going to be selecting one of you all to come spend the weekend out here with us this summer. You can even be a part of that week's video if you choose to. And for those of you that live too far away, if I pick your suggestion and you can't make it this far down, maybe you can give it away to somebody you know, or even sell it. It's up to you. But either way, I'm just happy we finally got a place set up. Alright folks, that is going to wrap up this video, but make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with these exciting projects coming up. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and we will see you all next time.